We are live, ladies and gents. Ooh, hello, wet qualifying. Welcome to Spa-Francorchamps, ladies and gentlemen. It is round 4 of season 16 here in SKG Tier 1. My name is George Sanderson, and alongside me in the commentary box, as always, in what is a very damp part of Belgium, is Mr. Ollie Lewis. Ollie, welcome. Have you brought your umbrella? Because it looks like we are going to need it, certainly at the start of qualifying.
Oh no, unfortunately, I left it back at home in the UK. Yeah, it's good to be here at Spa. Probably the best track on the calendar. I'm gonna be honest and say that right now. Best track in F1. I'm gonna say that right now. Spa is the best track in F1, and fingers crossed, it'll be the best race in season 16.
Fingers crossed indeed. We had a few technical issues starting, but it wouldn't be an F1 league race if there wasn't the odd technical issue here and there. But we're finally here at the longest circuit on the F1 calendar, the iconic Spa-Francorchamps circuit, as we see Parker, championship leader, rising through Eau Rouge and Radion and down this absolutely monumental Kemmel straight towards Les Combes. This straight, it's a bit of a trick straight almost, because it is constantly uphill, but you don't really see it on board or on the camera angles, but it is one long climb to the highest point of the circuit of this very undulating and hilly location in the Spa-Francorchamps countryside of Belgium. We have currently got 17 drivers out, well, in the session, should we say. We are trying to get 18 at the moment, as Jay Snowy, who I'm just going to try and invite, has been trying to join for quite a while and hasn't managed to get in, so we're going to try and get him in. But definitely a 17-man lobby at the minimum. And as we said, some wet weather to start things off at the very least. So expect to see drivers coming out and doing something a little bit different in qualifying. Rather than doing an out lap, a hot lap, and an in lap straight back to the pits, they will probably stay out for the majority of this session and just keep on going round and round the track, looking for any shred of time they can get. But while we're waiting for people to start doing their laps around this incredibly long circuit, Ollie, you were of course the one and only commentator last week in my absence. Do you want to give us a little rundown for people that didn't manage to catch the stream last week?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what a race in tier 1 we had last week. Oh my word, tier all the other tiers in the league, I must say, were a little bit boring, and then we got to tier 1. And holy moly, we had Oliver Knott in the Red Bull decide that he wanted to just be better than everybody else. Stuck it on pole, ahead of Stephen Vaso, who Stephen Vaso is here tonight. And then, yeah, we had 2 safety cars, one at the start and at the end of the race, which caused drama, with people going onto the soft tyres later on and, yeah, getting caught up in amongst each other. So then they didn't actually end up catching any of the guys ahead of them. And then, yeah, across the line, we had Oliver Knott and Stephen Vaso separated by less than a tenth. It was a run to the line. Yeah, fantastic race. But I must say, all the other tiers were a little bit boring. I was commentating 3 tiers out of 4 last week, so my vocal cords that Saturday evening, well, yeah, they weren't great.
It was a monumental weekend from you, just carrying the lead in terms of streams pretty much, but it is good to be back, even though it is 1 week only for me before I hop away again next weekend. But I couldn't miss Spa because it is such an incredible circuit. We've been watching Parker on his first lap in this qualifying session, just going around, getting a feel for the circuit, not really pushing it too hard early on. And we are about to see him come up to this final bus stop chicane of turns 18 and 19. It helps if I have my notes in front of me instead of miles away from me. But yeah, he will cross the line, Parker, and set the initial time of a 1 minute 53.075. AMS Callum just behind, only about 0.03 of a second slower. So the Aston Martin on the early pace, should we say. We will see how much that comes down over the coming laps. The next driver up was Stephen Vaso. He goes almost half a second slower as Sausage Joe goes half a tenth quicker than Parker and puts himself provisional pole after his first lap. We've got a Red Bull coming up to the line now, but he is just starting a lap. The second Aston Martin Arisbo goes 6th as he is dropped down by Esko Kalevi, who slots himself into 3rd, and then Katsby and Jacek is the first man into the 1 minute 52s in his Red Bull. I expect we're going to see these times just getting consistently quicker throughout the session, to be honest, because that's what these conditions promote. Drivers can come out and do multiple runs and still be on the pace just as much on lap 4 as they are on lap 1, pretty much. Ethan Quigley goes to the top in his beautiful Gulf liveried Williams. It's good to see so many special liveries out on the cars here tonight. We've got Ethan Quigley's Williams and a special on Parker in his doodled up V-carb as usual. And I believe Venzi is probably... oh no, Venzi has gone back to his usual Red Bull livery, as has Katsby and Jacek. So the Red Bull's no longer running that special Japanese Grand Prix livery that was all white. So a bit less confusion there, I suppose, for us.
Indeed, yeah, there are a few liveries that, gotta say, I am thankful for Codemasters or EA or whoever the fuck made this game for adding them in. It does spice up the grid. As we have to keep it around the final chicane.
Yeah, it's
the line
coming at P9 with his first lap of 53.3. Still very close between everyone in that mid-pack at the moment. Just half a second separating pole and pretty much the rest of the top 10, apart from maybe Stephen a bit further back in P10 at the moment. But Scooby in the Ferrari at his home track. He scored his debut victory here all the way back in season 10, so a long time ago. And Scooby will be hoping to return to the top step of the podium here tonight. He's been away from the top step for a few races now. The last 3 rounds he hasn't featured on the top step or even on the podium whatsoever. And what better place to return to form than in front of your home fans? As we've seen Jay Snowy. Wow, he struggled to get in the lobby. He is not struggling for pace. A 52.0 from Jay Snowy's Sauber that puts him nearly a second clear of everyone else. He is 8 tenths ahead of the Williams of Ethan Quigley. That is a fantastic lap by the Briton in the Kick Sauber, and it is currently a British 1-2 as well, so any Brits watching the stream, no doubt very happy with that indeed. Who else do we have coming around to the line? That looks like the V-carbs. We've got Parker about half a second down. Tom Campbell a lot slower. What's that?
As I've been on board with Katsby and Jacek, and realistically Sector 1 is 1 braking zone, and Casper is 2 tenths up. So are we starting to see the track ramp up a bit more now? Because he's, yeah. Or he didn't use ERS. That could have been the alternative, but Casper about to go through the third DRS split. As yeah, 1.1 seconds up. So I think the track is on the crossover.
I'm actually riding on board with Katsby now. That rain looks a lot lighter than it was at the start of the session. So could we be seeing a wet to dry qualifying session? So I'm actually going to turn on the tyre detail to see, and yeah, I think we are. AMS Eric currently sat in the pit lane, but our timing sheets are showing that he is about to strap on the soft compound of tyres, so expect to see lap times absolutely tumble here as Katsubi Jacek has gone second fastest. Stephen Vaso set a time a bit quicker than that earlier on, and we are in the 51s here. I think these lap times over the next 9 minutes are going to absolutely tumble.
Yeah.
It could well be a case of whoever is across the line last in qualifying might get the fastest time.
Yeah, absolutely. The track is improving with Risbo moving up to 5th there. So, and yeah, Esko Kalevi also going into P3. So yeah, track really coming alive now, thankfully, as we still have 8 minutes left to qualifying. So I expect everyone will have a chance at a run on the softs.
Yeah, quite possibly. Eric, as I double checked with him before the stream, Eric still sat in the pit lane, hasn't ventured out on the softs just yet, but he has selected them. We are going to keep the tyres off for the time being, to not try and give any drivers strategic advantages, if they are able to watch the stream or not. But Parker coming around the final corner, he has been on a second push lap, currently outside the top 10, not anymore. 51.2 by the V-Carb, and your championship leader is on provisional pole with 7.5 minutes to go.
Yeah, a few more drivers switching onto the softs now. I'm not going to mention which, as like you say, don't want to give a psychological advantage.
Yeah, we expect, to be honest, I expect most drivers, if not all of them, will be venturing out onto the soft tyre. But while it's on the crossover period, we'll let the drivers decide for themselves who is going for the soft tyres and when they are venturing out. We'll take a look at Kubi. He is still on an outlap, but is on intermediates, as is Tom Campbell, also on an outlap on intermediates. Those two deciding it's not quite the time just yet. Ethan Davis up to the line goes 4th quickest with a 51.6. Nice lap time by the McLaren there. We've got Haas coming out the final corner. That's Portuguese Beast coming up to the line. Can he improve? He goes second and lifts his Haas to the front row. Very nicely done indeed for Portuguese Beast. He got his best qualifying of his career last time out, with 4th place in Saudi Arabia. Was it? Oh, sorry, no, the time before, rather, in Monza with 4th place. And now hoping to improve his best race result as well and get himself towards that podium.
As Ghosty has gone up into 3rd, so people are still finding good time here on the intermediates, which I'm sure must still be feeling not too bad, as yeah, people are still finding time. But Jay Snowy, who is on the softs, has now gone out on track as a few others. So
yeah, just watching Jay Snowy at the moment, riding on board with him now. Just seeing how gingerly he's having to go on these tyres as he goes off into the gravel. I think that did look like he was just trying to get out of the way, I think, more than losing control of the car. I think he was just trying to get out of the way of the Red Bull of Katsubi and Jacek, who goes off into the gravel himself, dipped a tyre, and it just dragged the car out wide, invalidates his lap. And yeah, nothing doing for him, but let's have a look. So Esko Kalevi has just come out the pits on soft tyres. Jay Snowy going towards the final corner on soft tyres. AMS Callum is starting his lap, and we are going to ride on board with the Aston Martin on those Red Bull softs as he takes us on a lap of the Spa-Francorchamps circuit. Heavy on the brakes into the slowest corner on the track at La Source Turn 1. Bit of a snap of oversteer. You can tell the track is still greasy from those intermediate conditions we started the session with, but it will only be getting quicker as the clock ticks down, riding up through Eau Rouge, then through the left-hander at the top of the hill of Radian, and we go all the way down the 1 kilometre Kemmel Straight. DRS open, just waiting to pick your braking points. Again, all the way over to the left-hand side. DRS not open yet, so we aren't quite at dry tyre conditions then. And you can see it as the Aston Martin is trying to gingerly step its way through Les Combes. He's very, very nervous on the power, not wanting to lose the rear end and potentially end up spinning out or into one of the walls through the second sector as we plummet back down the hill now. Through Sector 2 towards Puyon, the fastest corner on the circuit, or certainly one of, and a snap of oversteer, second bite of the cherry as well. He has invalidated the lap, and is it just too quick too soon for the dry tyres. Is the intermediate still the option? Ethan Quigley out on track at the moment in second place. He is still on inters, but he's coming towards the bus stop chicane, and I fully expect we are going to see him come into the pits. We do have, though...
Jay Snowy is up in the middle sector by 1.5 seconds, so currently...
Not good enough for pole.
That wouldn't put him pole, yeah.
Yeah, he needs to gain another half a second in this final sector to be able to snatch provisional pole from Sausage Joe. But has he gone too early here? His teammate's still in the pits with 3 minutes to go. And yeah, Jay Snowy decides to come in now. I think he realises the track isn't quite at peak condition just yet. He might as well come back into the pits and just head straight back out. Then the track might be at its quickest. We do have Venzi, the only car out on track at the moment. He is on soft tyres and is going to be building up for his lap here at the end of this session.
Yeah, as I lost my train of thought. God damn it.
I did wonder where that was going for a second, but well, yeah, anyway. Venzi making his way around. DRS has been enabled. Race control confirming it there. So now is the time to be on the soft tyres.
I've remembered what I was going to say. I was going to mention how little time there is left in the session, actually, with how long the lap is. Well, yeah, like a 1 minute 40 something lap. So people have got to come out of the pits now, or else they might risk, if they get held up, not actually getting to the flag.
Absolutely, yeah. It's going to be very close. And if we go and look at Sausage Joe, you can see he has the Haas behind him. There's a bit of a queue coming out the pit lane by the looks of it. Ethan Quigley still in his pit box.
May not even get to the flag here, as he's only just exited the pit lane. And
yeah,
I can't see how long is left.
Ethan Quigley is only just coming out of the pits now. There's been constant yellow flags because of AMS Venzi, or SKG Venzi rather, trying to just get himself as late in the session as he possibly can. When that yellow flag does eventually clear, we'll be able to tell you how long is left in this session. And he does get moving. There's 1 minute 26.
It's going to be tight for Jay Snowy here.
I think they will just make it. I think even Ethan Quigley will just about make it. He is straight line in the corner. That will get him a penalty point, unfortunately. But I think in this scenario, it's worth taking that penalty point. It's going to give him the only hope he has of getting to the line, I think, was by cutting that section of track. So Ethan Quigley pushing the limits of the rules, but you can understand it, I feel. So I think for this final run, we're going to quickly look at Venzi as he crosses the first sector split. 1.2 seconds up, purple sector 1 from him. I think the man we need to watch is the Belgian in the Ferrari. At his home circuit, Takubi looking for a return to form if he can. We go through the final corner with him now, and he'll put the power down as quickly as he can. He gets on the power, opens the DRS and burns a bit of the battery as we come up to the line. There's a big traffic jam, you can see it on your mini-map at that final sector. Everyone jostling for parts on track. Takubi, big snap of oversteer at La Source as he now puts the power down and heads towards Eau Rouge. We'll wait and see on the timing screen who makes it to the line and who doesn't. But Takubi is rising up through Eau Rouge and Radion. Now onto the Kemmel Straight. Does everyone make it across the line? They do. Just in time. We'll keep an eye out for Venzi as he comes through the final sector at the moment. For Takubi, he's a second up on his time, currently in 17th place. He needs to do more if he's going to push himself towards the front of the field. Into Sector 2, we begin the descent all the way from Les Combes down to Stavelot at turn 14. Back on the power out of Bruxelles, through the left-hander of Speaker's Corner, and now we look towards Pouillon. This is a crucial turning in point. It is so easy to invalidate here as Venzi comes into the pits and backs out of his lap time. It's 13th at best for the Red Bull, but I think that will become 18th by the end of this qualifying session. Takubi through the right, then the left as we go through Fania at turns 12 and 13. We're coming up to the final sector split. The right-hander of Campus at 14, and then Curve Paul Frere at 15. He's 6 seconds up. The track is at its quickest right now, but has Takubi got enough to steal a pole position away from currently, Sausage Joe, we come towards the bus stop chicane with the Ferrari, the final braking zone on this circuit, gets the turn in, hits the first apex. Tom Campbell is still on intermediates. He sets a 48.2 and goes to provisional pole, but Takubi smashes that with a 45.6, a fantastic lap time from him. Caspian Jacek is retired. He's only going to be 10th at best. Ghosty goes P2, Eric P3, Parker P2. Can Takubi be top tier? Across the line comes a whole pack of cars, and it might be a tactical masterclass on Takubi. Not quite. Esko Kalevi goes to pole right at the death, and Takubi, by finding himself space on track, gets himself on the front row for his home race. But it's Esko Kalevi back on pole again, and what a qualifying from him. He was last on pole in the season finale last season with his first ever pole position. His second one comes just 4 races later.
Yeah, what wow, that was just, that qualifying ended so quickly with everyone basically racing over that. There was a whole pack of cars through that entire lap for the people that were just waiting in that final sector. But yeah, I feel a little bit bad for Takubi. I thought he'd aced it, but lovely lap from the Williams.
Yeah, Takubi almost pulled off a strategic masterclass there by going early and staying out of the chaos. But not quite to be, but he is right at the front for his home race. And oh my, well,
wow.
The heavens have well and truly opened, ladies and gents. This could be chaotic, I get the feeling. Let's take a look. First of all, everyone on the wet compound of tyre. Let's run you through the grid. So Esko Kalevi bags his second pole position of his career in race number 45 in Tier 1. Alongside him on the front row, the home hero Takubi for Ferrari. AMS Callum is ahead of championship leader Parker on row 2, with fellow Brit Jay Snowy 5th and Ethan Quigley in 6th. Portuguese B 7th for Haas with the second Ferrari Ghosty in P8. Risbo 9th, Ethan Davis rounding out the top 10. AMS Eric is 11th alongside Tom Campbell all the way down in 12th. That's a shock, but he did only finish the race on intermediate, the quali on intermediates. Sausage Joe 13th, Stephen Vaso down in 14th, and Caspian Jacek alongside teammate Venzi on the 7th row of the grid, or rather the 8th row, of the grid. Red Bull having a shocker in qualifying. Keep an eye out for them in the race. Trosh and Boaty complete your qualifying lineup, with Boaty, the Tier 2 race winner earlier today, starting from the back. But you may have noticed as we're running through the order, some drivers no longer on the wet tyres, some of them gambling for intermediates, so could see a variation of strategies here, Ollie.
Yeah, it's going to be one of them. As here we go then.
Yes, towards the 5 red lights for the Belgian Grand Prix. Round 4 is underway here at the circuit de Spa-Francorchamps, and Esko Kalevi pulls away beautifully to hold the lead into turn 1. We've got the other Williams in the background going into the inside at turn 1. Takubi runs deep, and he's going to be dangerous on the exit. There's an Aston Martin who's lost the rear end. That's Risbo who's dropped all the way to the back, but at the front, Esko Kalevi almost a second clear already. AMS Callum up into 4th as we rise through Eau Rouge and Radion. Takubi fighting with the Aston Martin as we head down the Kemmel Straights. He's on the outside line, the Aston Martin on the inside. Esko Kalevi has a second over the entire field already. He is sprinting clear at the front as Takubi regains second place. Ethan Quigley up in 4th.
Yeah, it was it's chaotic, yeah, as Parker is there in P5, keeping his nose clean for the moment, as the guys on the wets have dropped down. Actually, I think, let's get up the position changes.
Yeah, there's a lot of positions.
And, yeah, people are swapping and changing here as
constantly. Ethan Quigley, what a start from him, by the way. He's on intermediate, surrounded by intermediate runners, but he is all the way up from 6th to 3rd on this opening lap as Parker gets through in the background, or tries to get through, on AMS Callum. They'll go side by side through Fania at turns 12 and 13, and the Aston Martin will have the inside line for the second part, but Parker hangs it round the outside. He'll then have the inside line for the next corner, but he can't get the move done, and instead we look back to Goat Ghosty on the wet tyres in 7th place, trying to put the Sauber of Jay Snowy under pressure. But you can see there, 3 wet tyre runners: Goat Ghosty, Portuguese Beast and Venzi. Everyone else on the intermediates, and so far that appears to be working for most of the wet tyre runners there. As, oh my god, Goat Ghosty going very wide at Blanchimont.
As AMS Callum is looking around the outside of Parker into the final game, but that is never going to go, especially in the conditions we have here. As
oh, we've got Haas round in the background. Portuguese Beast on the wet tyres loses the rear on the final corner, and he's past the pit lane entrance. He's not going to be able to pit, but the safety car is out for the damage there, and Esco Clevy is in front of that safety car, so we'll go round another lap.
Is that a full? Or is that only VSC? It is a full safety car, wow.
Yeah, full safety car. It's actually going up Eau Rouge side by side
Ooh.
with Ethan Quigley pretty much, but he'll then wait at the top of Eau Rouge.
As people are being dished out with penalties, as Vaso already has 20 seconds.
Ouch. Luckily for Stephen, he'll be able to pit on the end of this lap because of the safety car, so he'll be able to get rid of one of those penalties. And I think we will then have a second lap under safety car. So he may be able to get rid of both of those penalties during this safety car period. He will drop to the back, but he's already down in 16th. That's not going to make too much difference. Same with Trosh as well in 14th. Up 3 places though, the Haas. Not a bad start from him. Oh my god, another penalty. What is going on between these two? Stephen Vaso is crashing intentionally into the Red Bull, and I think that might be potentially a season ban coming the way of Stephen Vaso. That is not what you want to see. Clearly something happened between the two of them before, because I believe all of the penalties were for collisions with Venzi. Yes, Stephen got one originally for a collision, then got one for ignoring yellow flags, and then another one for a collision with Venzi. Trosh was for ignoring yellow flags, as is Portuguese Beast as well. What is going on with some of these drivers at the moment? I'm guessing he went past Risbo and then got handed the penalty.
People have forgot how to drive, I'm afraid.
Yeah, it seems that way. Stephen Vaso, that is pretty disgusting driving that we've seen, but it's also a massive shame because he's someone that could well have been in the fight for the title come the end of the season. He finished second last time out in Saudi Arabia after a great battle with Oliver Knott, and then a week later his head has absolutely gone, and he, well, like we say, he'll likely be sitting out a number of races, if not the rest of the season, for those incidents. We come to the end of the lap. We have a couple of people in the pits, including Goat Ghosty, which I'm not surprised here. In fact, all the wet tyre runners coming into the pits. Venzi potentially has some damage to repair after his incidents with Stephen, and indeed he does. So front wing damage for the Red Bull, which he now gets repaired. But yeah, the intermediate tyre runners all coming in, and, well, Portuguese Beast has to wait for his teammate to serve a 10-second time penalty, then gets served in the pit lane, and now can Portuguese Beast come into his box. He'll get his front wing repaired, and yeah, a bit of a nightmare start for Haas, but luckily with this safety car out, they will be able to catch up to the pack. Tell you who it hasn't been a nightmare for, though. The Williams team, 1st and 3rd at the moment for Williams.
Oh, you said it now.
Well, yes, I might have cursed them there, but the team with the most double podium finishes, Williams, they have 5 times both finished on the podium, looking for number 6 here today, and the perfect start so far. Esco Clevy leading from pole, Ethan Quigley up 3 places from where he started and onto the podium, sandwiching the Ferrari of Takubi.
Yeah, we have a few big position gains actually, as we have Eric up 4, we have Sausager up 5, and then we have Up 6 for Casper and up 8 for Botti, who is now inside the points. So he's managed to keep his nose clean.
Yeah, a shout out to Botti, by the way, as well, because that is a really good start for him on his Tier 1 debut, no less. The only driver making their debut here tonight. Started in last place, after perhaps struggling with the conditions a little bit in his new surroundings, but yeah, after winning Tier 2 earlier today, he has now got himself up into the points in Tier 1, albeit with his slightly more experienced teammate Ethan Davis just behind. I say slightly, Ethan is only in his 5th start as well. McLaren, by far, the, well, joint least experienced team. Haas, between them, are making their 4th and 3rd starts for Portuguese Beast and Trosh, respectively. But, yeah, really, not many appearances for Haas or McLaren so far, and it's not really going too great for either of them, with only 1 point between the two teams.
Safety car will be out for one more lap with, just waiting for the Haas to catch up. So...
Which is unsurprising, to be fair. He could have got out the car and nipped to the toilet in the time that it took Trosh to serve his time penalty, get his car serviced and pull away. That must have felt like forever for Portuguese Beast. But, yeah, one more lap of safety car and then we'll go back racing again. And yeah, championship leader Parker, I believe, will just about be extending his lead at the moment. I'm going to try and figure that out. It's a bit pointless looking at fastest lap at the moment because we've only had one lap of racing. But currently, Esko Kalevi does hold the fastest lap of this race. Let's take a look. So, Parker with 4th place at the moment is not holding the championship lead as things stand. Esko Kalevi right now is 3 points clear at the top of the championship because he got pole position, which is an extra point. He currently has fastest lap, which is an extra point, and he is also winning this race. Even without those extra points for pole and fastest lap, he'd still be a point clear of Parker as things stand. So Esko Kalevi rolling back the years here in Tier 1 tonight. And yeah, it's...
Has Esko actually won a championship?
Esko has never won a championship, no, but he has had a decent amount of success in his career still. He's in his 45th race, he has 1 win, 8 podiums before tonight, and 354 points, which does put him quite high on the points tally standings. He is 9th overall for most points, and as it stands will actually be overtaking Josh Rose for 8th. So Esko could be having a very good and successful night as things stand. But we are about to go back racing here by lots of things. As the safety car's pulled away, and it'll be up to Esko Kalevi when he gets this race underway again. Where do you think he goes, Ollie?
I reckon out of the final chicane.
And indeed he does. He waits as late as possible, and that's been quite a good restart by Esko Kalevi. He pulls away and is immediately over half a second clear from Takubi in 2nd place. Onto the brakes into La Source. Does anyone try a move in the background? Let's take a look. No, everyone's single file in these conditions. And yeah, everyone holding position. But back at the front, I think Ethan Quigley might be thinking of making a move on Takubi on the Kemmel straight this time around. He is tucked into the slipstream of the Ferrari, and are we about to see it become a Williams 1-2 here as he pushes down the power, but Takubi just has that bit too much straight line speed and nothing doing for the Williams. Behind them, there's a bit of a train behind Parker for 4th. But Callum and Jay Snowy staying exactly where they were.
As Venzi and Go Ghost are going side by side through, I don't know the corner names
Malmedy is the right-hander at the end of that little section there, and we can see, oh my god, there's battling all over the place. As now Trosh is getting involved down the inside at turn 8 at the Ravage hairpin, gets the move done and demotes Ghosty's Ferrari down into 16th place now. After starting up in the top 10, it's been a bit of a nightmare. There is a brief yellow, but that has been waved away now. Not too sure what that was for.
Still there for me, which is odd.
Oh, there's no yellow flag on my screen, so the stewards are just particularly worried about you, I think.
Oh, bless them.
That's, but yeah, that's been a good start, or a good restart, should I say, by Esko Clevi there.
Whereas Callum must have had a moment as he's dropped behind Snowy and now Amos Eric as he goes around the outside of Blanchimont.
Yeah, and into the final corner, Ethan Quigley coming under pressure from Parker here for that third place spot. Takubi has tried to get away from the Williams and has done so quite well. Instead of looking ahead, the Williams now checking his mirrors as in the background, Sausage Joe locking up the front tyres, almost running into the back of the Aston Martin of AMS Callum, but keeps it clean and keeps his car in one piece and remains in 8th place for the time being. Further back, more battles going on between the Haas drivers and those around them as Trosh looking for a move on Risbo, who in turn is looking for a move on SKG Venzi, and Risbo having to back out going up Eau Rouge. That's cost him a lot of straight line speed, and here goes Trosh for perhaps the most simple overtake of his career. Up into 14th place goes the Haas.
Yes. Callum has dropped down another position, so he's now down to P8 where he was sitting in 5th. So as all behind,
oh my god, the McLarens have hit each other.
Yeah.
The McLaren drivers just collided there on the short run between Malmedy and Ravage, and I don't believe there's any damage on either car, but Jesus, Zach Brown will not be over chuffed about that one. I think there was just a miscommunication between the two of them rather than it being anything cynical. I think Boaty was just trying to let Ethan Davis through without making him lose time, and Ethan didn't realise that. So when his teammate lifted off the throttle, he had to steer very quickly to try and avoid him, and there was a little brush between the two of them, but no damage done, just perhaps a fresh set of pants needed for the Briton at the end of this race. But yeah, we almost saw a very embarrassing moment for the Papaya team there. Out at the front though, it's a much better story for the Williams as Ethan Quigley has held off Parker for another lap, and his teammate Esko Clevi controlling the pace out front.
Yeah, doing a wonderful job. Yeah, the gap was a second, like a few corners ago, as multiple people setting fast laps. Snowy currently holding it for the moment, but interesting. I've been keeping an eye on AMS Callum, and he's was in 5th. I'd say 2 laps ago now. He's down to 9th. And now he's got the 2 McLarens that we were just talking about behind him. So I'm interested if Callum, he doesn't have any front wing damage, but I don't know if he has some other type of damage, as he is dropping back from Casper. Casper is almost a second ahead, so the Aston Martin maybe limping.
Casper thinking of going on the attack on Sausage Joe, but not able to do so this time around. Casper up 7 places, by the way, after starting in P15. It's been a great performance from him so far to get himself back into the points and back into the fight of this race as well. He is in the long train that stretches from Esko Clevi in the lead of this race all the way down to Tom Campbell in P12 at the moment. And Tom Campbell, actually quite surprising to still see the Australian down there at the moment, because he started in P12. He has made no ground whatsoever, so yeah, a bit of a surprise. I expected to see him sort of charge through with Kacper Jędrzejczyk, but instead he's still stuck behind the debutant Boaty in the McLaren.
I'd be interested to know what time or whereabouts in Australia Tom Campbell lives, because I'd love to know what time it is in the morning for him. I could not imagine trying to do a league race in the morning. Oh my word.
Absolutely not. And in the background we see Parker thinking of a move around the outside into the bus stop chicane. He'll go for the switchback out of the corner and instead just runs into the back of the McLaren. That one was well defended by Ethan Quigley, I think it's fair to say. A bit of the dark arts there from the Williams, but the VCAR didn't read it, and he keeps him behind. Nothing wrong with what Ethan Quigley did there. But yeah, Parker not able to get past this time around, and now might even come under some pressure from Jay Snowy, who, by the way, after not being able to get in the lobby for quite some time to qualify 5th and be genuinely in this fight for the podium, he's had a really good race so far.
Parker, yeah, he's going to have the move on the Williams. Will Snowy be able to go around the outside? Here, it's going to be tight.
Outside turns to inside, and I think the Sauber might just get it done. Can Ethan Quigley hold on through the following right-hander?
Lovely move.
Malmedy, no he can't. And the Williams losing 2 places in half a sector. As DRS enabled, Ollie. Are we potentially going to see a few people dive into the pits for some soft tyres soon?
Did it come up? I didn't even notice.
It came up on our screen, I believe. I'm 90% sure it said enabled and not disabled, because I don't see why it would have been enabled before now. But surely it's too early. I mean, it's still raining. We're riding on board with Ethan Quigley. You can see the spots of water trailing down the camera lens at the moment. So surely it is too early for soft tyres. But DRS has been enabled. Big slide from the Williams, and he gets himself into the gravel, has to take to the escape road there on the exit of Curve Paul Frere, and he's going to come under some real pressure here from AMS Eric, who has very quietly made his way up into 6th place and is looking for that to become a top 5 position after starting in 11th around the outside. Goes the Mercedes, and Takubi coming into the pits then. Is this too early for the Ferrari? He comes in, the home hero is taking a gamble at a crucial moment in this race as Parker sets the fastest lap of the race. Takubi is in for a set of hard tyres. Catsby and Jacek in for the white wall hards as well. And here is Risbo last of all at the back of the field. He comes into the pit lane and is also swapping to the white wall hards. This is a huge risk from these drivers. Will it pay off?
Yeah, I mean, this first lap for these guys is going to be horrible. But the rain is still slightly falling. They've got to navigate on cold hard around a greasy track. It's going to be horrible for this first lap, but then we've got to watch that second and third lap. I mean, I'm looking at the gap to leader, and it's currently at 18.1 to Takubi. We'll just have to watch that gap and see if it just starts dramatically falling. But
I mean, it is coming down slowly at the moment, but it is still coming down. And watching Takubi there through Lecom, he was pushing. The Ferrari is quite happy, although he goes very deep there at Rivage hairpin, and that just carries him out into the water on the exit and loses him all the time he had gained. But I think it might be about time, so it'll be very interesting this time around as the leaders come into the 3rd sector. Esko Klevi a second clear of Parker, who in turn is a second and a half clear of Jay Snowy, and the field starting to get away from people now as there's a bit of a battle in the background between Venzi and Boaty over 9th place, but the Red Bull comes out on top. But do we see people coming in?
The low 17, so Takubi's gained a second in the middle sector, so let's find out.
Stays out. So does Parker and Jay Snowy and everyone else for that matter. There's an Aston Martin in the background and a McLaren. That is Callum and Ethan Davis. They are opting to pit now. I'm wondering whether these guys are thinking, can we hold it out a bit longer and go to the medium tyre maybe and gain a lot more pace until the end of this race, because there doesn't seem to be too much difference. Takubi gained a second maybe on that lap. It's not massive yet, and with the rain still falling as well, it's worth noting, there might not be a need to pit for a little while longer yet. If a safety car came out now, Takubi would essentially be 11th on the track, because almost everyone ahead of him would get a free pit stop. But Takubi and Catsbear, after making that early pit stop, they are about 6 seconds clear of Callum, so I think it could work out for him, Ollie, currently. It's just, when do the leaders pit? And do they even decide to pit? If conditions stay like this to the end of the race, they could well just stay out.
Yeah, I mean, Takubi gap 16.5 seconds as I'm just going to keep an eye on him through this what is now, yeah, through Puon and then through the right left. As the gap now down to 16 seconds, 15.9, 15.8. It is coming down dramatically
It is
quite now.
coming down quickly now. I think it's now or never for the leaders, really. They either need to gamble that they can take mediums to the end of the race or gamble on a safety car coming, because if not, Kubi is going to be out of sight in this race.
So much now.
He absolutely is. It's into the 14 seconds now. Esko Kalevi, if he doesn't pit soon, any hopes of a first win in 22 appearances will be gone. And in comes the Williams at last, as does Parker. And it's going to be the Salvers.
Stays out.
Yeah, it's going to be the Salvers that get caught out here, because Sausage Joe can't pit, otherwise he'll double stack with his teammate, and he opts to stay out, as does AMS Eric and Tom Campbell. Now, Tom might have been too close to his teammate, but Takubi setting the fastest lap. It is definitely time for the dry tyres, and I mean, he's only about 10 seconds off the lead now, 9.2 behind Sausage Joe. Out of the pits slides Esko Kalevi, and he is just about ahead of Katsbey and Jacek, and indeed he is.
Casper will have
so
the
he
DRS
has come
though.
out in a net P2, but Katsbey, will get the DRS, and I expect Katsbey and Jacek is going to move himself up into 6th place, and as we say, a net P2 once everyone else pits.
Yeah, this is helping Takubi, knowing that now there's a buffer between him and, well, who he was fighting in the race, especially now Parker is now right behind Esko Kalevi, so Esko's got to be careful here. I mean, yeah, Parker, but these two, direct championship rivals, technically, between Parker and Esko Kalevi here, so...
Yeah, absolutely, but Esko will be much the unhappier man currently. He went from leading the championship earlier on because of where they were to now still being quite some distance behind Parker. Of course, they're still going to gain a number of places when everyone else comes into pit, which will be sooner rather than later, but yeah, not ideal for Esko Kalevi, and I think any hopes of a first win since the Season 9 finale at Singapore may be going up in smoke. 69 races since Esko Kalevi last took a race win in SKG Tier 1. He had a golden opportunity here today, and I think the weather might have just caught him out in this one. Takubi, 3 seconds clear of Katsby and Jacek. Surely now, this is the Ferrari's race to lose.
Yeah, I mean, he just does. He needs to do what Takubi, well, I should say, did best in the prior seasons, and just lead and win races. And obviously, he is a champion. He knows how to lead races. He knows how to win. But can he do it this time? Will he crack under the pressure of being his home event? We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. It's worth noting, Katsby and Jacek was half a second quicker on that last lap than the Ferrari. The Red Bull is not out of this race, having started so far down. I mean,
this could be something.
He started like 15th on the grid. That is incredible. It's been 29 races in SKG since someone won who started outside of the top 10. It doesn't happen often, but Katsby and Jacek is looking very quick here indeed. The gap now 2.6 seconds. Is Takubi just saving his tyres perhaps? But Katsby is gaining, and gaining quickly here. He's actually dropping Parker as well.
I've just clocked top Jay Snowy on the intermediates, still circulating. I think the game's put him, he pit and he's put back on intermediates.
It's also happened for Tom Campbell down in 12th place. He is on a fresh set of intermediates that he's put on this lap. So, unlucky for them too. I think that might be race over unless there's another safety car for them, unfortunately. But looking at everyone else's tyres, we can see majority on hards, but Sausage Joe, Boaty and Venzi gambling on the mediums. Now, Boaty did a fantastic race in Tier 2 earlier today to take the win ahead of Stade Daisy. He mastered his tyres. If anyone can sneak into the points in this race, it could well be him, as Takubi sets the fastest lap and Katsby and Jacek snatches it away. But Parker also going quicker, so the time's tumbling here as the track gets hotter. Boaty now into the 45s, and that McLaren in 8th place looking very quick indeed.
Yeah, as we may have in a few laps' time, Parker, looking very quick, nearly within the DRS of the Red Bull of Catsper. So if Casper catches Takubi and Parker is behind, we may even have even a four-way fight here for the win, which would be phenomenal. And Snowy has stayed out again.
As has Tom Campbell. I think their strategy at this point is we just have to firm it. I mean, for now on, they just have to hope and pray for a safety car. As Tom Campbell is dropping like a stone. There's a massive battle. There's contact, and McLaren takes to the escape road. The two Hassers almost coming together. Ghosty somehow comes out of that unscathed in P12, but these guys battling over the positions outside of the points are putting on a fantastic show at the moment, as Tom Campbell has dropped to the rear of the field, and I think for him that might well be race over, like we say, unless there is a safety car. But for Jay Snowy, he's finally been overtaken by AMS Callum as we head through turns 12 and 13 at Fanya, or as the locals call it, Piff Paff, which honestly I prefer that name to Fanya. It sounds much better. Local slang for a quick turn change of direction. Love it. Piff Paff. But yeah, Jay Snowy anyway down into 8th place now. The Inter's obviously not the quick tyre to be on, but I mean if he pits he's last, so surely you just wait and hope for a safety car for the time being at least. Takubi sets the fastest lap, responds to that lap time last time around by Parker. Sausage Joe though improves on it on his mediums, and the Sauber into 5th place. The other Sauber into the pits. Jay Snowy deciding now is the time to go back to the tyres he was hoping to be on in the first place.
Yeah, you saying he was on wouldn't have worked there.
Yeah, he's not hoping to be back onto intermediates. It would be quite funny if they put him on wet tyres instead this time, but he has switched to the mediums now. But yeah, I mean, we could potentially have a fantastic battle at the end of this race, because Sausage Joe is flying on those mediums at the moment. If he can make them last to the end of the race, he could well make it a 5-way fight for the win, because Takubi has got away a little bit from Catsper, but that gap has sort of stabilised about 2.5 seconds. Parker about 1.5 seconds further back. Esko Kalevi in 4th, but you have to remember, Parker and Esko Kalevi on 2-lap fresher tyres than Takubi and Catsper, so they will be able to push harder later on in this race.
Absolutely, yeah. The gap's stabilising around 2.5 seconds between our front two. And are you getting a bit of deja vu from a few seasons ago when Casper and Takubi were fighting?
Yeah, I absolutely am. It feels like it's season 12 all over again when Takubi took the championship for the Racing Bulls team ahead of Katsby and Jacek, who was runner-up 2 seasons in a row, seasons 11 and 12. He is yet to win a driver's title, but he has consistently proved himself as one of the greats in SKG Tier 1. The most front row starts of anyone, the second most poles of anyone, behind Takubi by just 1 pole position. He has been a top driver throughout his time in this tier, and Catsbear would love to get back to winning ways. It might surprise you. 25 races since Catsbear won a race. It doesn't feel possible for a man who has been at the front so consistently, but he has just really struggled for form as of late. But today he looks like he's back to his best.
Well, hopefully we haven't jinxed him, but oh yeah, it would be fantastic to see a fight between well, the front 4 with a Gap Sausage Joe, as we were talking about a few laps ago, kind of staying about 4.1, so maybe he is on the fast tyres, but maybe just hasn't got the overall pace of what is a very, very strong front 4 with Parker.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the gap has stayed about 1.5 seconds. He's not been able to breach into that DRS, but when he does, or if he does, should I say, it'll be very tough for the Red Bulls to break it, with obviously how quick Parker has been in the first few races. So yeah, Parker will really, really want to catch up to Casper. I mean, any point will help in his quest for his first ever title.
Yeah, and it may not be the most entertaining race between these 4 currently, but I've just rode on board with all 4 drivers, and they are pushing. The battery levels on all 4 of them well under half. They are all pushing their absolute hardest right now. And, well, you only have to cast your mind back a couple of seasons when Victor Weidler dominated here. He was clear by multiple seconds. He was about 7 or 8 seconds clear of anyone else, about to take a win on his debut, and then got a puncture on the last lap going through the final sector on the approach to Blanchimont. He then came back and won multiple races and, you know, has gone on to have a very successful, albeit short currently, Tier 1 career. But, yeah, Victor Weidler with a last lap puncher here just 2 seasons ago. These front four, they're pushing like crazy at the moment, but they need to be careful. They don't want the same thing happening to them as what happened to the Swede a couple of seasons ago. But whatever happens here between these top four, is the gap starting to come down a little bit between Takubi and Katzberg there. He's gained another couple of temps. But whoever wins this one, it's a fantastic story either way. Takubi looking to win where he got his debut victory all the way back in Season 10 and looking to tie the all-time wins record as well with what would be his 10th career victory. Katzby and Jacek looking to get back to the top step of the podium for the first time in 25 races. Parker looking for his first title, having been bridesmaid to Michal Opalka for the last 2 seasons, and Esko Kalevi, sort of the old flame being reignited for him as he's taken pole position and is looking to grab just his 2nd win of his career after not winning since Season 9. Whoever wins this, the storybooks will love it. But right now, Takubi pretty comfortable. He's gained another couple of attempts on Katzberg after it was taken away from him. And the Ferrari, whatever the Red Bull seems to throw at him at the moment, the Ferrari deals with it.
The Williams now of Esko Kalevi going past Parker, so Esko had a fantastic run out of the bus stop chicane and just was able to get close with DRS, and yeah, now up it is his chance to now go and chase down the Red Bull, which with that DRS assistance...
Oh, there's contact between Venzi and Botti, and Venzi recognises he was in the wrong there and lets the position go, but that's cost them both time, and now the McLaren has been inexplicably handed an illegal overtake penalty there by the stewards. He was clearly rammed off the track by the Red Bull of Venzi and then has had to give the position back despite being let through by the Red Bull, but would not be surprised if Venzi is taking a trip to the stewards at the end of this race, because he was weaving about behind the McLaren. He went for a late dive bomb into Le Comet turn 5, and there was wheel-to-wheel or wheel-to-side pod contact between the Red Bull and McLaren that forced Botti off. And yeah, he has now dropped down into 9th place as a result of that. Esko Kalevi has got himself up into 3rd and back onto the podium for the Williams team, and now is within the DRS of Katzberg and Jacek, so the two with the fresher tyres, as we begin lap 18 of 22. 5 laps to go here at Spa-Francorchamps, and now 3rd and 4th just starting to turn up the heat a little bit on the top 2 as Botti comes into the pit lane, and I think he may have some damage. He speeds into the pits and potentially no damage, I'm not too sure with him, maybe just tyre wear for him, but not ideal for the McLaren. What had been a fantastic debut by the Tier 2 race winner earlier today, it's all become a bit of a nightmare in the last couple of laps.
I must say, it's still been a very, very respectable performance.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he qualified in last place, I believe it was, unfortunately for Botti, and yeah, indeed it was, but has been admirable to get himself out, keep out of trouble. And oh, Rispo gets a 10-second penalty for crossing the pit lane exit line.
I've never seen that happen before.
Yeah, it's a bit harsh, a 10-second time penalty. I wouldn't be surprised if that does get reduced by the stewards post-race down to what would probably be a 3-second time penalty instead. But yeah, perhaps taking a bit too much speed out of what is a very tight pit lane exit here at Spa. It is in the last source hairpin. And yeah, just a bit too much speed, carried him out over the line, and the stewards decided that was worthy of 10 seconds, apparently. Let's have a look. Eric has got past Venzi for 7th place, so the Red Bull dropping a little bit further back. The Haas drivers of Trosh and Portuguese Beast quietly going about their business in 10th and 11th, which could well become 9th and 10th after Ethan Quigley's 3-second time penalty. So keep an eye on them moving forward, but also keep an eye at the front of the field because Esko Kalevi is well within the DRS of Katsby and Jacek, and this is the closest Williams has been to the man in second this entire race since he got past. You can see how much battery the Williams has used just to get within the DRS in the first place, and he's gaining and gaining. He won't be close enough this time around, but maybe a chance later on as Boti, I think he's coming in to retire, and indeed he does. So a retirement on debut for the Hungarian driver, very unfortunate, but a lot to be proud of from this race here today. His any hopes in this race effectively ended by that dive bomb from the Red Bull. This fight for second, though, could well be heating up in the final couple of laps, and Kacper just ducking under 2 seconds now within Takubi. That gap sort of ebbing and flowing around the 2-second mark at the moment, which has come down over the last couple of laps. So Takubi perhaps looking to save his tyres a little bit. I tell you what he is doing, he's saving some battery. He's got half his battery available to him, as does Kacper. In fact, as does Esko Kalevi, and he's still within a second of the Red Bull. So these top four playing a very tactical game at this moment, and we are about to start the last 3 laps of the race. So if there's going to be any moves for, well, definitely the podium, but potentially the win, they need to be playing their card sooner rather than later. There is Takubi in the race lead at the moment for Ferrari. 1.952 seconds, 1.902 ahead of Kacper. The gap going up and down constantly at the moment. Esko Kalevi still within a second. We ride on board with Parker, the American in the B car, having a front row seat to any potential battles for second place. You can see Esko Kalevi saving battery, that little red light flashing on the back of the Williams, saying that he is harvesting some battery, as is Kacper ahead of them. So have these two resigned themselves to the battle for second? Have they conceded defeat to Takubi with 2 laps to go?
Yeah, something crucially, obviously, to note is the 2-lap fresher tyres that Esko Kalevi and Parker do have. So, obviously, we only have 2 laps remaining. How will these guys manage their tyres, as both McLarens are now out of the race? So, yeah.
Really disappointing there for McLaren. They have been on a good run of form recently, have been in the points, or have gained points in each of the last 3 races, but a double DNF here today. Not ideal for them. Retirements number 2 and 3 of the season. The only teams yet to retire this season, Red Bull and Williams. So those guys still going strong. So Esko Kalevi is certainly getting closer and closer to Katsby and Jacek now, and this is where things start to really ramp up. What does the Williams do this time around? Does he go for the move on lap 21 of 22 and maybe have a think of really pushing to try and catch the Ferrari? Or does he bide his time, accept second is the best I can do here today, and stay behind the Red Bull for a last lap charge to try and get that second place? It's a very tactical game at the moment between Kacper, Esko Kalevi and Parker as we head up Eau Rouge and through Radion and down the Kemmel Straits for the 21st time. And, well, there's your answer. The Williams is pushing and pushing as this rain's starting to fall. Kacper squeezes him on the entrance to Les Combes, but a legal defensive manoeuvre there and holds on to second place. But look at this on board. On the Williams, the rain is falling again, and Takubi is being caught as well. 1.3 seconds to the race leader, Ollie.
Yeah, I was about to make a joke now with the rain falling that maybe Jay Snowy and Tom Campbell are onto something, going on to the intermediates again. But yeah,
he's just pitted for a fresh set of softs instead.
It's not gone well. As yeah, gap is now going back up, so Takubi maybe having a bit of a wobbly first sector. As yeah, the gap was almost under a second to the Ferrari. I think It'd be interesting now if Takubi does slow down, gives Casper DRS. But I don't know if
I
they would
don't
do
think he
that.
risks. I don't think he takes that risk, to be honest. I think Takubi just wants to get to that checker flag as quickly as he possibly can, and he is not using much battery at the moment, but he doesn't have much to play with. But 1.7 seconds clear the Red Bull. I think he is looking pretty safe so long as he keeps this final lap clean. Jay Snowy gets a 3-second time penalty and retires from the race there. At Speaker's Corner. Of course, no safety car at this late stage,
Oh.
but a lot of sliding there. Did you see that at the
Yeah.
final corner? Katzber and Esko Kalevi both having snaps of oversteer, which has allowed Parker to get that little bit closer. Is Esko Kalevi close enough to even make a move? He's 8 tenths back from the Red Bull. I think the Williams might have left it too late, you know?
Yeah.
The
I
Red
think
Bull
he
might
has,
just
yeah.
have him. Yeah, Katzber almost a second clear, and as the rain comes down, the DRS still enabled here. But Esko Kalevi is nowhere near the Red Bull, and instead he's coming under pressure from Parker, who had a brief look into Lake On, but nothing doing this time around. It's been so close between this entire top four for the full race here, but for the time being, nothing is going to change. Will we see a last lap lunge into the bus stop chicane from any of these drivers, or are they all too busy thinking of the long-term game in the championship? Esko Kalevi will gain points on Takubi as it stands, but Takubi will hold
Parker.
on to the Parker, yes, he will hold on to the championship lead as things stand, but only just. It will be close, but it's about 8 points between them as a big slide from Esko Kalevi there, and DRS disabled now, so it is certainly wet enough for potentially even intermediate tyres, as we joked with Jay Snowy pitting again. But I don't think there's anything coming. If there is any move, it's going to be into the bus stop chicane, but it's not going to be this time around. Fastest lap is currently going to Venzi, who is outside the top 10, so there won't be a fastest lap point extra, but this man won't care. He didn't get pole, but he has controlled this race with a fantastic strategy, and after a long time since his debut win here in Season 10, Takubi is back on top in his home country and back to form in Belgium. Takubi wins from Katsby and Jacek. Esko Kalevi completes the podium ahead of championship leader Parker. The battle is in the background now, though, as Sausage Joe just holds off AMS Callum. Look at everyone sliding across the line here. Callum 6th, Eric 7th, Ethan Quigley is 8th. It's double points for Haas in the end with 9th and 10th. And Goat Ghosty just outside the top 10 by 2 seconds in 11th place. Venzi has retired, so that is Red Bull's first DNF of the season. I didn't quite catch where that happened, and Tom Campbell will slide his way to the line as the rain comes down here in Belgium, and he does some drifting for us across the line. Don't retire it here, Tom. There we go, getting across the line in 12th place. Exactly where he started this race from. It's been a very just bland race from Tom Campbell, but he does finish, and it's 12th place for the V-Carb. There he is, dancing his way onto the podium. The Belgian flag on top of the podium at the Belgian Grand Prix. It's been a while since they've been able to see that. Season 13, when Rob Jacobs took victory here, was the last time. And since then, Semir Bartial, Lucas Shea have both reached the top step of the podium. But here in Season 16, it's a Scarlet Ferrari that reigns supreme at the Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps, the longest circuit on the calendar, but there was no match for Takubi today. So there you have it. There is your order as we quickly run through the race director in case anyone is needing it. It is available on the stream. There you have it. But yeah, Takubi with the win. Katsby and Jacek. We saw Rob back the years to Season 12 there, with Takubi winning and Katsby in second. Esko Kalevi in third. Parker fourth. Sausage Joe completing the top 5. Ollie, I know we don't always have to do driver of the day, but who would you give it to today?
Oh, I'd love to give it to Takubi. I think just winning after a long while, at your home Grand Prix and well, doing it flawlessly as well. Um, so Takubi is up there, but obviously Casper from what was I think what 15th or 14th?
15th. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean
15th on the grid.
that is another fantastic shout. Um, obviously Esco Clavi doing a really good job, nearly winning. You know, that was a very, very respectable drive. Obviously, then getting the third place back with a few laps to go was, you know, really good. But I think for now, I think I'm gonna give it to Takubi.
Takubi in the Ferrari is your shout. For the sake of not wanting to be called biased and also just wanting a bit of variation, I think personally I was leaning more towards giving it Catsper because 15th, yes, there were tough conditions, yes, there were a few incidents here and there, but it was the strategy from Catsper. He picked the same lap as Takubi and was about 4 or 5 seconds back from the Ferrari when he made that pit stop. He had the pace in that final stint. It was purely because of that qualifying session that he wasn't able to catch up with him. I think Takubi has been the strongest driver of the weekend, so I wouldn't blame you for giving Takubi the driver of the day, but in the race alone, Catsper really impressed me there, and I hope for his sake as well that he's able to carry that form forward now in the championship, because that is a fantastic result for him. And I'm just getting up, adding the top 5 to the championship there, and trying to figure out roughly where we are with things at the moment. So the win for Takubi, those are his first points of the season, believe it or not. He has only raced once this season, which was in the season opener at Australia, and he was having a strong race there until contact with, I don't remember who, but someone just after a pit stop took him out of contention. But then he missed Monza and Jeddah, but back with a bang here tonight. His first win of the season and 4 different winners in 4 races so far. Season 16 continuing to entertain in SKG Tier 1. But the win for Takubi brings him to 25 points. But in the fight for the championship, Parker's 4th place takes him to 61 points. Esko Klevi's 3rd place to 53. Catsby and Jacek to 31 points with 2nd. He is down in 5th at best, depending on everyone else's points from the top 10. Nardo drops to 3rd in the championship behind Esko Klevi after not racing here tonight. He is on 42 points, and I believe Venzi will still be 4th in the championship at the moment, but yeah, it's far too early to call things. We still have 8 races left to go here this season, starting next week when Ollie will be your sole commentator for Tier 1 at Singapore. Good luck with that one, buddy, because there are a lot of road names that you may want to get. But yes, Ollie will be taking you around the Singapore Grand Prix this time next week, before we hopefully both will be back for round 6 and the halfway points of the season at Brazil. I am very much looking forward to that one. In my opinion, whilst you love Belgium, I adore Brazil, so I can't wait for that race. Then comes Azerbaijan for the first time in a long time in SKG Tier 1. Azerbaijan, first time on the calendar since Season 9. Can't wait to start the second half of the season at the Baku City Circuit. Then we have Qatar and a US double header, should I say, at Vegas and Austin, before Spielberg in Austria and Mexico City round out the season. But for now at least, we look ahead to that Singapore Grand Prix. Tier 4, Thursday night, 8 PM UK time. Tier 3, Friday night at 8 PM. And then your Super Saturday, as always, Tier 2 at 5 PM. Tier 1 at 8 PM. And Ollie, I wish you luck for the commentary with that, to be honest. It's always chaos at Singapore.
Yep. I mean, I would hope and keep my fingers crossed for the most clean race of the season, with hopefully a bit of action, but with a street circuit, you can never predict. Never predict.
Absolutely. It's a very fun street circuit, and Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how they get on. But a number of street circuits actually this season with Azerbaijan on there as well. But Singapore, certainly a tight and twisty one. It will be a very interesting race. Make sure, if you're not following already, to follow the SKG channel and come back next week for Tier 1. For now, though, we'll leave you with Takubi on top in Belgium, Ferrari back to the top of the podium, and the championship as wide open as ever. We'll see you next week.